Meanwhile, in Tupac news,
The shooting of Tupac Shakur once again underscores the violence that has surrounded this man since he shot the superstar.
People pulled up, opened fire. Shakur and Knight.
Tupac Shakur was shot several times in the chest. Shakur was pronounced dead.
MAKAVELI in this Illuminati, all through your body. The blows like a 12-gauge shot. Feel me? The preacher want me buried. Why? 'Cause I know he a liar.
Jackson do his up in the middle class, and he go to the White House and have dinner and pray over the president. I'm up in the hood, you know what I'm saying, doing my work with my folks. You know, he should be the last person talking about gun violence when he sat right there while Martin Luther King caught one in the neck. Jesse Jackson was running for president in 1984. It hurts me for him to say anything negative about any rapper, because we support him. And as far as Jesse Jackson, my first acting job was at the Apollo Theater when Jesse Jackson was running for president in 1984.
It was a fundraiser, and I was a little kid. Travis, from Raising the Sun.
Only Gab can do it like this. Yo, YouTube, what up? It's your homie Gab, I'm in the building. And this is MAKAVELI Media. For those that don't know, there's a new Batman movie coming out. Whole new cast, whole new writers, whole new reboot of the franchise. Starring a guy named Robert Pattinson, the new Bruce Wayne, right? And in this movie, they debating whether or not they should put all of Batman's foes all at one time going against Batman. All these countless villains trying to get Batman. Oh yeah, it's a lot of them. So it got me to naming them. I was like, all right, the Penguin, of course, the Joker, the Riddler, Catwoman, Harvey Dent, Bane, Scarecrow. So I'm naming all these people. I'm like, I done got there like 8 or 9 of them. I'm like, it's too many to count, right? Then I got to thinking, that's a fictional character. But in the real life of Tupac Shakur, he had more people out to get him than Batman does. That's incredible if you think about it. This 25-year-old entertainer had countless enemies. Just think about that for a minute. I named all of them bad guys, all of them villains after the Batman, right? And if I was to list all of the people that Tupac had a problem with, it would put Batman's villain list to shame. And that's truly a shame. But it's facts. Or should I say stone cold facts. And one of these people that had a problem with Tupac, whose name often gets buried way on the bottom of the list, if ever brought up at all, is Reverend Jesse Jackson. Now, before I get into this video, Jesse Jackson has did some very commendable things starting since the Civil Rights Movement. You know, so we can't discredit, what he tried to accomplish and his accomplishments. But in 1990 and 1991, Jesse Jackson started a war against rap music. And it trickled down to his longtime friend, who was also part of the Civil Rights Movement with him, C. Dolores Tucker. They was working hand in hand with local politicians to, try to bring a stop to rap music. They were blaming rap music for every ill in the black community, or trying to say it was detrimental to society at large. He was pointing the finger at rap music instead of the bigger problems. Like, you know what plagues our communities. And rap music is a byproduct of that. But it's not the source of the problem. Okay? Let's not kid ourselves. So rap music was under attack in the 1993 to like 1994. Tupac was letting people have it. Now, Tupac was highly influenced by people like Malcolm X. He was influenced by Huey P. Newton. He was influenced by Marcus Garvey. And he was also influenced by Martin Luther King, but that wasn't really his cup of tea because Tupac liked guys that took action. Martin Luther King was an advocate of nonviolence, but you know, Tupac was more Malcolm X. We just thought like that. He ain't into turning the other cheek, you know what I mean? But Jesse Jackson never had enough action. Tupac was also one of the people that liked to see his leaders out there with their sleeves rolled up. You know, he liked guys like Khalid Muhammad. Rest in peace to Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Or you saw Tupac when he gave his speech. I think Khalid Muhammad introduced Pac that night. He was on stage with him. Khalid Muhammad was so militant, man, that Farrakhan had to tell him, yo, you need to slow up. You're hitting them corners too hard, like Pinky told CW. And, you know, the funny thing is, even dating back to us being on plantations, they would use religion and a religious figure to keep us at bay. Like if you ever seen Nat Turner, who was another one of Tupac's idols, you know, Nat Turner started out as a preacher, going around teaching religion, you know, to keep slaves submissive. And that's how Tupac viewed Jesse Jackson. You know, Tupac didn't bite his tongue, man, so he lashed out at Jesse Jackson. He wanted to know what Jesse Jackson was truly doing, you know, for his people, and what change did Jesse Jackson bring, you know, other than show up for, you know, photo ops or opportunities to get in front of the camera. Tupac called him out several times. So, as a result of that, Jesse Jackson called Tupac out several times by name. So you had this like little tug of war going on between Jesse Jackson, C. Delores Tucker, Tupac Shakur, any rapper that was having hard times at this time, Flavor Flav from Public Enemy, you know, it was bigger than gangster rap. You know, it wasn't just the music at this point. Now they was attacking the lifestyle, you know, back and forth from jail. You know, Tupac, you know, rape charges and things like that, you know, gave Jesse Jackson the ammunition that he needed, like I said, to be, you know, an advocate of trying to dismantle hip-hop. Pac wasn't for that. So you got this struggle. And if you look at, you know, Tupac's political background, like I said, he wasn't impressed with Jesse Jackson at all. You know, you heard in that clip him reference to the fact that Jesse Jackson was on the balcony when Dr. King lost his life. So a lot of people look at that and they find that very suspicious, that it was one shot and, you know, nobody even flinched. You know, most people hear gunfire, they run for cover. You know, Reverend Jackson stayed right there. It made people think that maybe he knew that it was only going to be one shot fired. And that shot was a fatal one, and it ended the life of Dr. King. But this video right here, you know, I wanted to bring some light to the fact that in the grand scheme of things, right, the leaders in our community, they truly want to do something, all lose their lives. And the one, or the ones, should I say, that's handpicked or take a stance that's non-threatening always tend to survive. It's like the ones they know that's just BSing, you know, they stand unscathed. And the ones that's serious about their work all leave this planet. So when Tupac shot those 2 off-duty cops, Jesse Jackson had a field day with it. He gave some speeches here, some lectures here, locally between Baltimore and DC and Philadelphia. And he had this like campaign. And, you know, I remember, you know, reading one of the things he said that Tupac was living like an animal. This was like in 95, late 94. He said Pac was living like an animal, and he was encouraging other kids that lived that way as well. You know, he had a real dislike for Pac. And the feeling was neutral, absolutely, 100%. No other way around it. But if you fast forward to 1996, what happened to Tupac in Las Vegas? Once again, Jesse Jackson showed up hidden center. My question is why? You know, it's okay to have dislike for some people. Everybody don't get along. That's just the way of the world. But it comes off very disingenuous if you present yourself one way when everybody else know it's really another way. Prime example. Jesse Jackson was caught live on television hating on Barack Obama.
Talking down to black people on those faith-based.
Either Barack, I forgot, either he was running. No, he was running for president, and he had just, you know, gave a speech. And Jesse Jackson, under his breath, said, "Mother effer talking down about people's faith. I cut his nuts off." Something crazy right under his breath. And they put that out there, man. People had a field day with it.
Yikes, hand gesture and all. I mean.
And then the night Barack won the election, Jesse Jackson was crying so hard. He was just so happy for Barack. And people had a field day with that because they knew it was phony. It was phony. Now, before Tupac died, I don't even know if it was a whole month, Tupac was talking about, now some of y'all can help me out in the comment section, he was talking about being groomed by black leaders, like he had, you know, called for a truce. He wanted to meet with Louis Farrakhan and he wanted to meet with Jesse Jackson, and he had a couple meetings with both of them because he wanted to get more advanced in the political realm, and he wanted to, you know, have them help get started. Tell me what I need to do. So, you know, Pac reached out to Olive Branch and became cool with Jesse Jackson. And like I said, it was very short-lived. I don't think it was a whole 2 months when what happened to Tupac happened in Vegas. So in my last video, I did a reaction or a review of Psychic's Salone Bella's Tupac medium she did. And I didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with everything she said in there. I just thought it was very interesting, and I wanted y'all to check it out. But when she brought up the connection between Quincy Jones and Jesse Jackson, I thought that was wild. Because they was tight. They was thicker than thieves. And these were two people that Tupac verbally assaulted. You know what I mean? Pac hit Quincy Jones up at one point in time, and he hit Jesse Jackson up several times. And it was just amazing to me that Tupac found himself, you know, intertwined with both of these guys at the end of his life. Do I think Quincy Jones or his daughter killed Tupac? Absolutely not. I absolutely don't believe that. I still believe it was Orlando Anderson. But don't you think that's strange? That, you know, Tupac didn't like these two individuals, and he wound up connected to both of them at the end. But the crazy part is, both of these individuals didn't like Tupac. Quincy Jones did not like Tupac. His daughter told you that. And Jesse Jackson, straight up, had a big problem with Tupac. And like I said, at the end, man, they both was right there. But tell me what you think, man. Tell me what you think. Do y'all think Jesse Jackson being an ally to Tupac or being at Tupac's bedside was genuine? Or did he have a higher motive? The same way Tupac was a rising star in the rap community, you know, he could have did the same thing in politics, and he was going to. And, you know, Jesse Jackson always liked to be somewhere around. And one last thing before I go. Tupac called him out. Tupac felt like Jesse Jackson hid behind the church, used the church to pimp out his own people, make them pay out of pocket with no results. But he also talked him into being complacent. Before I get out of here, one last thing I want to say. When Jesse Jackson got caught hating on Barack, and when he said he would cut his nuts off, did that sound like a good guy to you? Did that sound like a reverend? Is that the talk of a man of love? Or is that words from a man full of vindication? You know what I mean? What kind of guy is this? Now, I'm not going to say he's a bad person. I think Jesse Jackson is one of those guys that want the credit. See, he got the bridesmaid syndrome. He's never been the bride, always a bridemaid. Never been number one, he always been number two. From the 60s, from the 70s, 80s, even when he had his shot, he ran for president, fell short. And all these years later, you see an up-and-coming new guy, and Barack pull it off. He had to feel a certain kind of way. And you know, in the 90s, he wanted to be an authoritative figure. He wanted the youth to listen to him, and they weren't listening to him. In 1994, doing an interview about the LA riots, and I quote, Jesse Jackson said this when he was asked by a reporter, could he have did more during the riots? And he said, and I quote, they wouldn't have listened to me anyway. They were too busy listening to trash like Tupac.
Let's